Hey, welcome to the Sentient YouTube channel. I am so excited to share with you this masterclass on time management and dealing with overwhelm. As an anxious person, it's one thing that we need to get a handle of so that we can start focusing on the can and the how, on breaking that cycle of reality, of anxiety, and focusing on a reality that we are happy in. Okay, so tonight I'm going to show you some methods that you can start implementing straight away. And as a busy, anxious mum, it's going to be a simple method that's manageable for you so it doesn't cause that extra pressure and those even more longer to-dos. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how to not do these huge to-do lists and how to chunk down information so that you can see it without all that head fog and you can prioritize what it is you want to happen. Okay, so think about that. What is it you want to happen? Language is key. It really, really is. And if you say need, we don't necessarily fight for things as hard when we use that language. If we use the language of want, we know we're going to drive ourselves harder, push ourselves harder to achieve it, to get it, because we want it. So my name is Nikki. I'm a mum of 3. I'll be 40 this year. Oh my goodness. And my journey to this point, I am a survivor of postnatal depression and the high anxiety that came with it. It was debilitating. It got very, very dark and it got very, very lonely for quite a long time after my 3rd. So I've shared my story. It's brought me to this point because I now help other mums who possibly feel similar, if not the same. And I just wanted to let them know that it's not their fault, it's not them, that it's an illness and that anxiety is an illness, but it's one that we can work through and break free from. And I know how to do it because I've done it. It works, okay? I work with many women across the globe, which is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's one of the reasons I started to sort of tell my story, and I know that I can help you. So if you wanted to know more about my journey, you can click the link and follow my website, and I've got my story on there about my background, what I've been through, what I went through, and what I started to do for myself to make the change happen. But for tonight, I'm just going to share with you this one element of how you can break the cycle of anxiety by getting back time. If you're careful with your time, you can get more of it back, okay? So it's going to be all about setting those goals, those aims that you want to happen. And then using some methods that, definitely work. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is something that I draw from, that I practice, and I share with my clients. So it's very, very similar to CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. It's all about your thought process, but it's in a way of, learning new behaviors, learning new habits that stick for life that you can draw from and use instantly. So it's a game changer when we're working on our confidence and our self-development and that growth in the right direction. Not only do I draw from NLP, but I also mash up in there some creative healing therapy as well, because I am a strong believer in creativity. There is so much power to it. And those people that maybe perhaps say to themselves, I'm not creative, people say to me, I'm not a creative person, I couldn't possibly create. Everyone can create. And it's all about that process. It's not about the outcome as such. It's about the process to keep these busy, this calm, but it then does allow that headspace for you to reflect. So with chunking, which is an NLP method, and then we've got the time blocking method, and then another technique for when you don't want to start something, your unconscious mind is like, nah, don't want to do this, can't face it, don't even know where to begin, and you procrastinate. You do everything but the task that needs to be done, which will get you to that goal or that aim that you've set yourself. So the pomodoro technique is a fantastic time management tool for you to just make a start, make it happen, but in manageable chunks of time that aren't going to feel like you're trying to climb this huge mountain and you're never going to get to the top. Not like myself. So when it comes to setting goals, we use a SMART goal framework. So we use the SMART way of setting our goal. What is it we want to achieve? you know, and the steps in place, you know, for before this point, because many of you might not even realize what it is you want to do. You might not even realize what it is you want to achieve. You've not thought about it because you haven't had the time, or you don't put yourself first, or you lost being a mum and you've lost your identity in your way and need to reconnect with what it is you want from life as well. It's not selfish to put yourself first. So SMART goals, okay? SMART, S is for specific. Be specific with what it is you want, okay? I use a method about, as an example, making a cup of tea. I have cups of tea that are milky, sugary, and not really much tea in there. It's more like hot water with, you know, milk. But I know my perfect cup of tea. So my goal is my cup of tea, and I'm specific with what's needed to get my perfect cup of tea to get me to this point. I know I need the milk, I need the sugar, I need the tea bag, I need the hot water, I need the spoon. So I'm being specific, okay? Then I'm being measurable in my goal about getting my cup of tea. And then I'm taking action. What is it I need to do to get that cup of tea? Being realistic as well. Being realistic with your goal is key because, you know, can I have a cup of tea without hot water? No. So it's not a realistic goal if I'm not specific and have all the ingredients that I can do to obtain my perfect cup of tea. And then time-based. Time is really, really important as well, because if there's no time base on a goal, you're very, very unlikely to do it. Think about a bill. Bill comes through the door, there's a date on there, it needs to be paid. If there was no date on that bill, would you pay it? Probably not. You'd think, oh, it's okay, it can wait there and I'll just do something else with that money. Whereas if there's a date on something, you'll do it. And it's like anything in life. If you set yourself a time limit, a goal, and you want something done for a specific time, your unconscious mind is going to drive you to achieve it. It's going to drive you to meet that deadline. Yeah? So I'm going to share a link. I've got more details about getting, you know, your goals set out using this SMART framework. So it's much more in depth for each step and what each step means, and you can apply this before you even start to think about your time blocking and the other methods that I've just discussed. So again, I will share a link in the comments of this masterclass where you can go and get more details about the SMART framework and what each element actually stands for and what it is you need to do to achieve it. Huge to-do lists. Who makes these huge to-do lists about what it is they have to do? Then you look at it and you think, no, hell no, it's not going to happen. I can't do that. And that is really, you know, I think everybody does it. I've done it. It's not the way to go. It's not the way to be, because our minds don't work that way. The unconscious mind is going to see the huge to-do lists and be automatically in a place of can't, feel incredibly overwhelmed. And I'm going to explain to you why. So the rule of 3, if we chunking down the information, and I'm going to get onto chunking in a moment, if we make the information more manageable and we make that information seem a lot less, then we're going to relax. Our mind is going to relax and not be in that, oh my gosh, I can't do it mode of overwhelm and anxiety, and then the negative self-talk comes in. It's going to think, right, okay, there's just these things to do, and I've got in my mind how I'm going to do them and achieve them, and it's a much calmer way forward. So when you think about it, we want, you know, you could have a huge to-do list. How are we going to bring this down to a manageable rule of 3? How can we group it and bring this information together to make it much smaller and manageable and less stressful? So I've got an example, and I'm going to share this example with you. But the chunking method is what's going to get you there. And the chunking method is, again, an NLP method, a technique to help you either chunk information up, so your big overall goal, what it is you want, what is it you see, to the chunk down, to really get specific, so that you can get those sub goals, and so that you can start using this information, you know, to get you to the top of the mountain. So you're going to start here, and we want to finish here, and we can use chunking up and down to get you to do it. Okay? The chunking method, I'll just move my little cursor there so you can see it. So how do you actually use this chunking method? So it's about focus, and like I say, you know, your overall goal. So for me, I've got a goal at the moment to finish my university degree. I'm in my final year. and I'm thinking about how I'm going to implement it, how I'm going to do it, how am I going to look after the kids, how am I going to work and finish my degree. So, you know, already just saying those sentences out loud can send me into a bit of a spin. But the overall goal, so the chunking up, is the end product is my degree. So how am I going to get there? Well, I chunk it all down. I chunk all the steps down to the present, and I chunk down what I need to do first to get to the next point. Those baby steps forward in the right direction. So to clear all that overwhelm and the head fog, you get it out on paper. You brain dump it. Get it all out, because a messy, foggy head is no place to be making choices and decisions about, you know, moving forward and where to go with it. You can easily get entangled in, you know, that negativity and the overwhelm and the anxiety. So the example that I'm going to use here is a simple shopping list, or a simple to-do list of the day, should I say, not a shopping list, but it's a mum's busy list. And I have to say, this is actually quite small compared to my daily lists, but it's just so that you can see where I'm coming from. So there's 12 things on this list, and there's a variety of areas of life that they could be categorized or grouped to. So there's the kids, there's the animals in the house, there's the jobs to do in the home, there's a work element to it. So already, you know, you're one person and you're being pulled into all these different situations and these different areas by everybody. There's not even a bullet point number there for anything for yourself. You know, maybe the run 5 miles thing, you know, that could be your self-care time, if that's something that you absolutely love. But, you know, who knows what it is you have to do within the day. But a long list like this automatically can send you into a spin, and you feel overwhelmed before you even start. So what you need to do is group the focus, group it together. So make those 12 bullet points into smaller fragments and think about what comes into what health, you know, so the running is health perhaps, your finances, your budgeting, you know, what have you got on your list there that can come under your finances? And then think about relationships. So you've got your children there that you're running to and fro everywhere, being mum taxi, you know, your partner perhaps. So all these elements, like really chunk those down and group them, yeah? And then once you've got those 3 groups, your mind can handle 3, okay? So you are niching down your to-do, so to speak, these huge lists. What can easily happen is you lose your way, and you can think of all these amazing things that it is you want to achieve and what it is you want to do, and forget why you even started in the first place. So when you're working through your list and these chunks of information, you know, these groups of information that you need to do to achieve your aim, to achieve your goal that you initially set, keep relating back to your purpose. Ask yourself why. Why are you doing it? Why does this need to be done? And keep providing the evidence to the unconscious mind that we're doing things, we're achieving, and it'll help with that drive to push you forward and continue. Taking action. So, you know, a lot of ladies that I talk with and help, they can have so many goals and aims and have used a SMART framework to, you know, set it out and prioritize, you know, they're prioritizing what needs to come first before something else, but they don't take action. And taking action is the biggest step. It's the biggest thing that's going to make it happen. So think about this. Think about it when you're looking at your to-do and you've chunked that down into your group of 3. What needs to come first? What do you have to take action on to make it happen? You know, what you want to achieve, how are you going to get there? And do it. So you may have to be really strict with yourself, and this is going to take practice and time. And I'm going to show you about time blocking in a moment and how to implement doing this. But, you know, don't sit and scroll and procrastinate on social media for 3 hours when you could be doing something else that's going to get you to your aim or to your goal. And if you don't, then, you know, take on the chin the consequence. It didn't get done, you don't know when you're going to do it, and then that whole anxiety behavior thought process kicks right in. Because if you think about it, this is a fact. Your thought process creates your behavior. Your behavior creates your reality, your present reality. If you are constantly feeding your mind the negative, then you're not going to behave in a positive way that's going to create momentum and move forward to get to where you want to be. And then the reality is you're an anxious, overwhelmed, not so happy person. So think about that thought process. We start focusing on the good, taking action. We're clear in our mind what it is we want to achieve. The behavior then starts coming because that unconscious mind is fueling it and pushing it because they can see the evidence of you doing and achieving. There's the whole self-talk element as well, and how you are with yourself. And then the reality is a much happier place to be. You're doing it. You know, if you think about it, have you ever had a spell in your life where you've done tiny things and then all of a sudden you've gone to reflect and think, oh my God, I've just done that. I've done it. I've achieved it. Feels amazing, doesn't it? It feels really good. And then it drives you to do something else. And this is what we need to focus on. And this is what we use to get to where we want to be. So time blocking. Time blocking is something I use all the time. Funny. But without it, I don't know how I'd do everything. So I have a full-time degree. I work, I have my own business. I have 3 children. I have time out for myself. I do things, I have my own passions, and I do them every week more than once. So I am not bragging. I am telling you this because I often get asked, how do I do it? How do I do what I'm doing? How do I fit it all in without losing plots? Yeah, this is one of the key elements to it. I think about the aim and the goal for the week ahead, and I implement what has to come first with my high priority task. What needs to be done first, okay? Because with time blocking, we create focus. We create more focus, which then creates the productivity, yeah? When we just put, say in our diary, you just put work, 9 till 5 work. That could be a million and one things, couldn't it? Whereas if you put into your day, 9 till 10, answer emails, 10 to 11, write this, 11 till 12, do this. Then, you know what I mean? You've broken it down, you've chunked down the information, made it specific, and created that positivity and productivity and the positiveness around getting things done. So it's really, really key for you to do that. So as I said before, start with your high level priority tasks. Think about what it is you need to achieve, you want to achieve, that's going to get you one step closer to the goal of the aim that you've set yourself, okay? So think, what needs to come first? Is washing the dishes going to get you to your aim or your goal? No. If you're on a journey of change for yourself, which is what many women I work with are, what is it that you need to start implementing for things to be different? 9 times out of 10, the answer is self-care time, doing something for yourself, putting yourself first. So is saying yes to everybody else, friends and family members, is that going to, allow you to get to your aim and goal by putting other people first and spending your time with them? It's not. It's really, really not. So you need to prioritize and think what comes first. If waking up in the morning at 7 o'clock and journaling for 10 minutes or a meditation or a morning walk, if it's possible, whilst the kids are in bed and there's a partner there maybe that can have them, will you go and get that time to start your day right? Then implement that in your time blocking. Think about the high level priority task that is going to get you to your goal and to your aim. So prioritizing, planning, block and task batching. Okay, so with time blocking, I do it myself, or I have done, but obviously now I practice what I preach, and I implement, what I'm showing you guys, because it works. So with task batching is awesome. You could spend lots of time replying to emails, to messages, to phone calls, and you check your phone every 15 minutes, and you've just spent all day on your phone, on social media, which can really take it out of you and cause a lot of head fog for yourself. Whereas if you task batch, so give yourself an allocated time when you're time blocking in the morning, say 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes over an afternoon, and check emails then, in that block. Then look at all the time you're saving of not going on every 15 minutes to check social media and emails and correspondence. So think, what can you batch? What can you do in blocks that are more manageable, that are still going to allow you to achieve the aim and the goal that you've set yourself? And review. Review and reflection is key. It's really, really important when it's coming to change and implementing new habits. You know, you're gonna have to really consciously work at the beginning to get these habits built and instilled. But when you do, it'll just become a natural behavior. It takes about 21 days, 28 days for a new habit to become just second nature to go and do. So practicing it and implementing it, being consistent with it, is how you're going to achieve this. And task batching is a game changer for getting more time. So I was explaining before about procrastination and tasks that we don't necessarily want to try doing. And this technique is brilliant. I've used it myself a lot when it's come to my university degree, because there are elements of my degree that I don't click with, I don't love, and it's a real effort to do. So this technique is something that I have personally used, and it just gets you going. It just gets you to make a start and put that foot forward. So the Pomodoro technique, this guy, it's only, again, it's not that old, you know, like NLP was the 1970s, and then this technique is the 1980s. It's not that old, but it works. So what you do is you have chunks of time with breaks, and it's small chunks of time. So this is how you're going to make a start on those jobs and tasks that you don't necessarily want to do. But you can also use this on those that you do. But by having those breaks and having the process of intervals, it helps it feel manageable, not overwhelming, and it gets things done. So this is how you need to do it, okay? So what is it you want to do? So for me, my example is research on my university degree programme. Ugh, hate it with a passion. I don't click with it. The language is a block to me. But anyway, this is where I used the technique and it worked. So the task for me was an assignment for research. I had to think about all the different steps to start going with it, and I couldn't do it. I was blocked. So I set my timer for 25 minutes and I just made a start. And then I had a 5-minute break. And that wasn't just a 5-minute break sat at my laptop scrolling or going on Facebook, or, you know, it was a change of environment and get a drink, a leg stretch, a body stretch, fresh air, you know, whatever it needs to be, away from where you've just been working for those 25 minutes. And then you come back and you repeat that until you've done 4 intervals. So the Pomodoro technique is an excellent way to help you just attack what you don't actually want to do, that job that you've been putting off for a really long time. You know, it could just be as simple as cleaning out one of those cupboards, you know, a Monica cupboard, so to speak. I've got a few myself. You open it and everything just falls out onto your head. So it could be something as simple as that. Or it could be something that's a bit more taskful, more meaty, like a research assignment for a degree. But if you implement that method and allow yourself that time to really sort of now, chunk it down into those small 25-minute intervals and give yourself that break, you can keep going that little bit longer. And if you time block that in as well, you know that for that hour, 2 hours, that is your task. That is what you're going to do, and everything else just gets forgotten. And the thing about time blocking as well is once it's been given a place, the anxiety around it goes, because you no longer have to worry or think about it, because that task has its space, has its time, has its date, and you get it done. And that is key. And once you get into the habit of doing that also, you can feel much more relaxed and far less anxious. So I really hope that those tips have helped you with the time management masterclass tonight, and those feelings of overwhelm. Even if you just implemented setting a smart goal or an aim, that is massive, and especially can help you see where it is you want to go, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. So think about me and my yucky milky cup of tea that I absolutely love. I know exactly what is needed, I know exactly how long it's going to take, and I know exactly how to do it to get there. Whereas if I just said to myself, I'm going to do this, and there was no more information, how would I make it happen? It's quite possible that it wouldn't happen. So, use the SMART framework so that it does happen. And then with the time blocking, the key as well is to remember you're a human being. You are not a robot, and life happens. Kids happen. You know, things can come up where you can't actually do something you've time blocked in, and that's okay. Be flexible. As long as you're being accountable and you're using, you know, that accountability and being flexible to realize that actually sometimes things don't just happen that way, and that day is not going to go quite as you blocked it, planned it, doesn't matter. Just pick it up again when you can, but make sure you do. Don't just leave it. So all those elements are really going to help you to start breaking the cycle of anxiety and allow yourself to create more time, especially when you're wanting that journey of change and you want to work on things for yourself. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button if you have. Comments are most welcome. And if you'd like to get in touch with me and help, you know, I can help you with a variety of elements of getting going when it comes to breaking that cycle of anxiety as a busy mom. Please do get in touch. It'd be fantastic to hear from you. Take it easy. Bye.